Hello, everybody. It's me. Hi. I'm still here. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a while for a couple of reasons. One of which was I've been working on a new video that will hit your screens in a few days, so everyone keep your eyes peeled for that. And another of the reasons has been this. This is Thrive, and specifically Thrive 0.6.0, the latest release of the Cell Evolution game that I have been working on with a group of volunteers for quite some time now. It's a long story. But yes, this is Thrive 0.6.0, and what you just watched was the new intro video for this version, which I hope you will all agree is a thing of extreme beauty, and I, for one, cannot stop watching it, so thank you very much to Quantum Crab for creating that. Yes, this video. This video is for going through this new release and also the previous release, because I didn't actually make a video on that in the end, and showing off some of the new features, or all of the new features if I have time. So first off, you'll notice there's a load of social media icons down in the bottom left here. If you click on this one, you have a thing that links to all of our websites, so please go join the community, watch development happen. We've also got a new suggest a feature page. You can go and make suggestions and vote on other people's suggestions. It's quite fun. So there's that. One other thing to show in the main menu, if you go to extras, there is this new shiny thing called the Thrivepedia. Now the Thrivepedia is more interesting if you open it inside a game in progress, so I will do that and leave it unopened for now to keep the mystery. Ooh. Anyway, I'm going to get started with a new game, and this will allow me to show you one of the big new things in the latest release. It's this here, the day-night cycle. So previously it was just day all the time in patches which were near the surface. Now it will cycle, well, if you enable this option, and actually this important thing, this one, because this is unbalanced and it's missing a few of the features that we considered necessary for it to actually be ready for new players to interact with. In order to enable it, you have to go into the advanced options here, then go to planet, and then tick this checkbox. And then there's also a configurable day length in real-time seconds. I'm going to keep it as the default for this playthrough. Sorry, that was a tangent. Where was I? Yes, day-night cycle. Now the daylight will vary between maximum and minimum throughout the day, throughout 3 minutes in this case, and that will influence how much glucose photosynthesis will be able to produce, which is quite a nice way to nerf photosynthesizers, which were a bit extreme in previous versions, to say the least. So yes, with that turned on, I'm also going to change to starting in a patch which actually has the day-night cycle, so a warm little pond, and we'll get started. Here we are on the Czechoslovakia title. Cool. And the first thing to note is this down here, the bottom right. So this, if you played Thrive before, you'll be familiar, is the indicator of how close we are to reproducing, to evolving our next generation. And it fills up as your cell collects ammonia and phosphates, these two compounds here. Previously, you actually had to go out into the world and find clouds of ammonia and phosphate to fill that up. Now they fill up on their own automatically. So as long as you're able to just keep surviving, you will actually have reproduction progress. This was added for a couple of reasons. I'm just going to pause the game for reasons that will become clear. It was added for a couple of reasons. One of which is it prevents a situation in which you just can't find either of those compounds, which unfortunately with the spawn system the way it is can happen from time to time. So it's a bit more forgiving there. And it also allows you to play as a plant a bit better, because before plants couldn't really generate those, well, they could generate ammonia, but they weren't able to generate phosphate as a compound because there is no real-world process which does that. So now plants, it's kind of an abstraction. Plants just sit there and we assume that these compounds are drifting through the water towards them. So it makes plant gameplay a bit more viable. That's something to do. That's in opposition to the day-night cycle, which you'll notice has already begun. The light in this display here is now dropping as the light of the world does, and you'll see the background is changing brightness, and also the compound clouds are changing brightness, but that's a bit more subtle. So yes, that's the day-night cycle. It's getting towards midnight now. Spooky. It's quite pretty, actually. These new dark variants of backgrounds, they're quite cool. Anyway, I'm just going to collect some compounds, because even though I am generating them passively now, just by surviving, it is much quicker to actually get them from the environment. So there's still an incentive to do that. Just grab all of the tasty goop in the water here. Until... there we go. Let's evolve into the editor. So you see on the patch map, it shows the current amount of light for the patch as you left it, with the maximum shown below it. So since we left when it was night, it's showing 0% light. Same for all of these places, because currently the time ticks forward in sync, and they're all kind of in the same time zone as such. There are no time zones on this planet yet, so we haven't really implemented that at this stage, but it could happen in the future. Moving on to the editor, mostly familiar apart from this thing up here. This lets you change the conditions in the editor to match what it will be at different times during the day. So we've got midday, midnight, and then the average sunlight over the entire day. Currently that's not doing anything except changing the background. However, if I add one of these, a thylakoid, which does photosynthesis, watch down here in the compound balance, you'll notice it changes, because it's based on what the light level is in the preview conditions in the editor, which is very nice. So really what you want to be looking at is the average glucose production over the course of the whole day, which is why this button is here. So we balanced it so that the thylakoid produces 0 glucose over the course of a whole day, which means that it'll produce stuff during the day and lose during the night. Simple. So I'm going to start with one of those. I'll get a membrane. Which one? I get a silica membrane. I like the visuals of silica. And I'm a plant, so I will be green. There we go. Just randomize the name. Right, that's the editor. Let's go back into the world. Unfortunately, I've come back at night time, so currently I'm not photosynthesizing at all, but I have plenty of glucose stored, so it's all good. And actually, I think this is an opportunity to show off one other big new thing in this latest release, the Thrivopedia. So this is the in-game encyclopedia, akin to the Civilopedia or the Sporopedia. And it contains information about the game as a whole and the game you are currently playing. So here we have the homepage. It's a homepage. There's not much to say about it. I'll skip the museum for now and come back to it later. The current world displays whatever details you set when you created the game. So you've got all of the different difficulty options, the planet options, etc. The patch map, which previously only existed in the editor, but it's quite useful, I found, actually, to have it available in the game to look at. Because you can always see, well, I like to plan ahead for where I want to go in the future. So I can see, okay, there's that patch next to me, and that's got that species in, and there's those patches, and so on. But the coolest part, and the biggest pain, implementation-wise, by far, is the evolutionary tree. I cannot take credit for creating the evolutionary tree, but I was the one who did a lot of the work trying to get it in the game here. There was the Auto Evo exploring tool in 0.5.10, that was the one, where this was added, and it's very cool. But it works as you might expect an evolutionary tree to work. So you've got the initial generation here, which is just primum thrivium, the player species, and then it's split into 3 in this occasion, which is quite rare. So we've got us with the thylakoid, we've got this one with some rustous iron in, so they're looking at iron. And then we got this one with some more rustocyanin and also some cytoplasm. So suddenly you get kind of a much clearer and more complete picture of what's happening in the game world as a whole. Because before it was just like a list. Before you had nothing but the patch map, right? And the patch map gives you the names of the species in the world, but it doesn't tell you what they're like. And with the evolutionary tree, you can just open the Thrivopedia in the game whenever you want, and come and look and kind of take stock of what species there are on the planet, which is very cool and kind of very useful from the perspective of this being a game about evolution. Anyway, I will... Did it say that there was another species in this patch? Yes. So let's have a look. See if we can find an example of that species, because I'm going to do something else that's new in this release once I find it. There we go. So I'm going to hit space. And this pauses the game. That's been there for a while. What's new in this release? You will notice all of these buttons here with ammonites on them. This is the fossilization button. So what this does, if I click on it for this microbe here, this is kind of like a saving creations method. Very rudimentary, but it just lets you save microbes that you find in the environment. So I can save this cell and look at it later. I can give it a name. I'll keep the name as it is, and I will fossilize it. And yeah, fossilization I think is quite a cool analogy for what this is. And then once you've got something fossilized, you open the Thrivopedia and go to the museum. And it's a museum because it contains all of the fossils. Makes sense. So here you can see all of the cells that I have fossilized across many playthroughs, including this behemoth. That was a very cool one. But yeah, there's the one I just fossilized here. And you can open these in the free build editor, which I will show you later on once I play this game a bit further. And in future, we're thinking of maybe adding some kind of sharing functionality with players, being able to populate a world with a selection of fossilized species instead of having them generated randomly. So there's lots of possibilities now that we're kind of saving creations across games. Right now you can share these with other people if you actually open the fossil folder, which is next to the saves folder. But there's no button in the game to do that yet. But yes, museum. Very cool. I'm going to unpause and keep bobbing along through the world, collecting some stuff, trying to stay away from these scary looking creatures that I've just fought. Oh, that didn't work. Whoops. Yeah, I'm really good at this game. Really good. And you'll notice, because the light is currently at 100%, it's noon, I am producing more than enough glucose to stay alive, which is good. But if I keep moving around, because moving requires ATP, and ATP in this cell requires glucose, I will, when it gets to nighttime, have... Well, I will start losing glucose, and I'll have to rely on what I've stored. My God, I've got an entire army after me here. Wow. So if I, now that the light level has dropped quite a bit, if I start moving, or keep moving rather, hopefully you will see the glucose start to drop. You won't see it there because my capacity increased because I duplicated the organelle. But yes, it's gone down to 0.4 because I'm no longer producing glucose because there's no light anymore. Makes sense. Right, I'm going to evolve before all of those cells start going for me again. I will check the evolutionary tree, and it's expanded again. Let's see what we've got. That's just us. We've got more rustocyanin. More rustocyanin. They're really going ham on the rustocyanin this playthrough. Wow, lots of iron around. Anyway, what was I was going to add this, wasn't I? Now, it's a bit risky because it means that my ATP production at this stage is not going to be enough to deal with the ATP consumption of my cell. But I should be fine as long as I don't actually move. When I start moving, I will lose ATP. And if I keep doing that for long enough, I will be in a bad state. But this is the slime jet. This was added in the release before this one, 0.5.10. This was something that I had quite a big hand in adding, and it's quite fun, especially if you add it to a small cell like this one. Basically, it produces a compound that no one can seem to agree on the pronunciation of. Is it mucilage? Is it mucilage? I'm just going to call it slime. It's slime to me. And that will act as a rocket, a jet, to push us along through the water. So you'll see here we are now generating slime from the glucose we've collected. Luckily there's a patch of glucose here because I was losing glucose because it's night. It all ties into each other. And also, if I move normally, I'm using up too much ATP to survive. But if I press R, whoosh, I eject the mucilage slime out the back, and it gives me a speed boost. And any cell who travels through that that does not itself, I'm too slow. No, I got eaten. That does not itself have a slime jet will be slowed by the slime, as you might expect, which means it is quite an effective way to escape predators, although not in that case because I don't have enough ATP to move properly. That if any of these get near me, I am doomed, so I just need to keep using strategic bursts to keep far enough away that they won't try and go for me. Oh, saved by the slime there. Come on. No. Oh, it's happening again. This is not going well. I think adding a slime jet this early was a mistake. So you'll notice the other members of my species down here, they are kind of stopping and starting quite a bit. That is coded, so whenever a species is running out of ATP, which is of course the green bar down here, they will just stop moving in order to regain the ATP. So that's quite cool. We want to eventually add the ability to, add the same for photosynthetic cells when they're out of glucose, because currently there's a problem where cells will just move around all night and use up all their glucose and die. But, it's realistic. Moving around at night will cause you to lose all of your sugar and die, but it's not really what we want from the AI at this stage. We want them to be a bit smarter than that. Oh no. No. Stay. No. Oh no. I can't believe I'm being terrorized by these tiny things. I mean, on this scale, everything is tiny. But by this game standards, those are pretty tiny. Oh, no, don't come for me again. Stop it. It's fine. There's safety in numbers. Flock, be my wall of meat. No, this is a good thing, right? I've accidentally created herding behaviour. Because right now I'm not going to survive unless I'm within another group of my own species that predators can pick off instead of me, right? I just need to stay with others of my group because I know I can run away more effectively. I hope those words don't come back to bite me very shortly. No, it's no good when they've all been eaten. Come on, I'm nearly there. I'm nearly ready to reproduce. Oh god, it's coming out of me. No, it's not. Okay, I'm gonna hide behind the rock. Come on, so close. Nothing come and eat me in the next 10 seconds. Okay. Oh, that was close. Right, I need some more ATP. I added this immediately to show it off, but yeah, it clearly wasn't the best idea for gameplay. Instead, I'm going to add one of these, some metabolosomes, to give me plenty of ATP, so that will be much better. But you'll notice I'm now losing glucose even at maximum sunlight, so I will need to collect it from the environment, but for now that's fine. Although I could add another thylakoid, but I'm still losing glucose on average. Oh well, in all cases. Let's check the Thrivopedia again, the evolutionary tree, see what other things we have. Things with spikes have appeared. More thylakoids. Lots of iron again. Right. Let's try and survive a bit better this time. Oh look, glucose. That's nice. Whoosh. And actually, now that I have more storage, I can produce longer trails of slime to slow down enemies. So that's actually quite good. I'm just about fast enough. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Whoosh. There we go. Now they're slowed. Aha! It's very fun, this mechanic. It's a bit silly and not particularly helpful in the game as a whole, but it's fun. And that's why I wanted to add it. You're not going to eat me. You're going to eat some slime. Let the slime build up, and then whoosh. Oh, well, you're too small to eat me. Can you give me a ride? You were pushing me along quite... Oh, no. I got distracted, and then I got eaten. Nature is brutal. And you'll see the AI versions of my species are using the slime on their own, which is quite cool. They'll use it for predation and for fleeing predators. God, listen, there's a lot of cells on the screen right now. I'm doing a good job showing off this game. Look at all the cells. All of them. So many of those ones just following one cell. You see, I was planning to make a video today to show all this off, because this was the first time I had a chance to. And then YouTuber Lathrix made a video doing exactly the same thing I wanted to do in this game. So that came out a few hours ago, which annoyed me because now he's stolen my thunder. Let's fossilize this species. I think I played this game for long enough to kind of show what goes on. I'm instead going to go to the Thrivopedia, go to Toxan ruveolus, cool name, and it's this big boy over here, and open in free build. Yes, I will lose any unsafe progress. Don't care. And we can see... Ah, look at it. So this is a cell created entirely by Auto Evo. And now you can play as this cell, which is very nice. Look at me. I'm so slow. I'm faster backwards than I am forwards. What the hell, Auto Evo? What the hell? But yeah, since this is free build, the world has been auto-populated with a load of Auto Evo generated cells that I can now go and munch on. Nom nom nom. Oh no, it had toxins. Oh, nature is cruel. Ow, I'm being poisoned because of the thing I ate. You there. You look tasty. Oh no, I'm too big. It's not providing any thrust at all. Well, it's providing some thrust, but not enough to catch up. Look at that guy. He's sliming all over the place. This is the slowest speed chase ever. Got it. There we go. Oh, and of course, it had toxins. Oh, this has signaling agents. I didn't even notice. The AI doesn't use signaling agents yet, so it was a bit useless on the cell that Auto Evo created. But I can use it now. I will say, move to me, and other members of my species will move to me, if there are any. They will, of course, be moving the wrong way. Oh, there's more of me. They're all moving. Here we go. Come to me, my army. I hope I don't die right now. There we go. So in free build mode, you can't actually progress to the multicellular stage. So I'm going to have to leave this cell behind and start yet another game to demonstrate that. So I'll see you shortly. So many cheats later, we are here with the great stick of cells, ready to enter the macroscopic part of the game. This here is a multicellular creature that was added a while ago, but the macroscopic stuff has been added much more recently. I think I showed off I probably showed off just this editor before. So I can add loads of dots here. Whoosh, creating a 3D organism. But now, as of 0.5.10, the previous release, you can actually move around a bit. And yes, granted, it's really not much at this stage. But, you know, it does kind of give you an indication of where the game is going. So as we gaze off at the horizon of future Thrive stuff, I am going to say goodbye for now and implore you all to go and check out Thrive 0.6.0, which came out a couple of days ago. It's on Steam, it's on itch.io, and there's also the launcher, which you can get for free on GitHub. Watch my other videos on Thrive if you want more information, more context, and otherwise just, stick around, wait a few more days for another video that's hopefully a bit more polished than this one and doesn't go wrong as often. But yes, I have been me, you have been watching. Goodbye.